Admiral Jeho Park stood at the main window of the HMS Thunderchild's bridge. The massive ship, Earth's most powerful dreadnought, moved silently through space. The stars stretched endlessly before him, each one a possible new home for humanity. "Admiral, we have an incoming transmission," said Officer Myre at the communication station. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook slightly. "It's not from Earth Command." Jeho turned around slowly. In his 20 years of space service, they had never received a transmission this far from Earth. "Put it on the main screen," he ordered. The large screen at the front of the bridge lit up. A tall, gray-skinned alien appeared. Its eyes were completely black, and it wore elaborate robes covered in strange symbols. "I am High Overseer Du Young of the Galactic Council," the alien said in perfect English. "Your presence in this sector has been noted." The bridge crew fell silent. First contact. After all these years of space travel, they were finally meeting aliens. But Jeho felt no joy in this moment. There was something cold and unfriendly in the alien's voice. "I am Admiral Jeho Park of the Earth vessel, HMS Thunderchild," he replied firmly. "We come in peace." The High Overseer's expression didn't change. "You will cease your expansion into the Orion Arm immediately. This space belongs to the Galactic Council. We control 300 species across this galaxy. Your independence ends here." Jeho's hands tightened behind his back. "We were unaware of any claims to this space. We are simply looking for new homes for our people. Your development of faster-than-light travel without our permission is concerning," Du Young continued. "No species has achieved this independently in 10,000 years. It is irregular." Chief Engineer Ta-Wan spoke up from his station. "Sir, I'm detecting energy readings. They're scanning our ship." Jeho stepped forward. "High Overseer, scanning our vessel without permission is not a friendly act." "Friendly?" Du Young's black eyes seemed to grow darker. "We are not here to be friendly, Admiral Park. We are here to maintain order. Your species has advanced too quickly. This creates instability." The screen suddenly showed images of other alien ships. They were massive, far bigger than the Thunderchild. "These are just a small part of our fleet, Admiral. Return to your Earth. Stay within your solar system. This is not a request." Jeho felt anger rising in his chest, but kept his voice steady. "High Overseer, humanity has worked hard to achieve our technological advancement. We have every right to explore and expand peacefully." "Rights?" Du Young almost smiled. "The Council decides what rights species have, Admiral. We have maintained peace in this galaxy for millennia by controlling technological development. Species that advance too quickly often become problematic." "Is that a threat?" Jeho asked quietly. "That is reality," Du Young replied. "You have 48 Earth hours to begin your return journey. After that, we will take steps to contain your species. For the greater good of the galaxy, of course." The transmission ended abruptly. The bridge was silent for several long moments. "Orders, sir?" asked First Officer Han, her voice tight with concern. Jeho looked at each member of his crew. They were the best Earth had to offer, operating the most advanced ship humans had ever built. The Thunderchild was a marvel of engineering, representing decades of human innovation and determination. "Send all scan data and transmission records to Earth Command," he ordered, "and plot a course to the nearest human colony. The Council wants us to run and hide, but humanity doesn't bow to bullies, no matter how big they are." "The colony is 3 days away at full speed, sir," said Navigator Young-O. "If they decide to attack after 48 hours, then we'll show them exactly what humanity can do," Jeho said firmly. "They think we advanced too quickly. They haven't seen anything yet." The crew straightened in their seats, pride replacing fear. The Thunderchild's engines hummed louder as they increased speed. High above, the stars continued their eternal dance, unaware that the balance of power in the galaxy was about to change forever. The Earth United Defense Council chamber was filled with tension. 50 of humanity's top leaders sat around the massive oval table, watching the recording from the Thunderchild for the third time. The alien High Overseer's threats echoed through the room one last time before the screen went dark. "This is unprecedented," said Council President Min-Ki, breaking the heavy silence. His aged face showed deep concern. "First contact with alien life, and it's a threat to contain our entire species." Captain Sun Li stood up from her seat. As the creator of humanity's faster-than-light drive, she had earned her place at this table. She was younger than most council members, but her eyes held the sharp intelligence that had revolutionized space travel. "With respect, Mr. President," she said, "I've analyzed the scan data from the Thunderchild. The Galactic Council's technology isn't as advanced as they want us to believe." She pressed a button, and new images appeared on the screen. "Look at their ship designs. They're using standard plasma drives. Their weapons are based on simple particle acceleration, nothing we haven't seen before. But their ships are much bigger than ours," someone pointed out. Sun Li nodded. "Yes, but size isn't everything. Their technology has barely changed in thousands of years. They're not advancing. They're standing still." She brought up more data. "The most interesting part is their faster-than-light technology. It's exactly the same across all their ships. No variations, no improvements. It's like they're all using the same ancient blueprint." Defense Minister Dae-sung leaned forward. "What are you suggesting, Captain?" "I believe the Galactic Council maintains power by preventing technological progress," Sun Mai explained. "They give member species the same basic technology, then stop them from developing anything new. They're not superior to us. They're afraid of us." Admiral Jaiho's face appeared on a separate screen, joining from the Thunderchild. "Captain Lee's theory matches what we've seen. The High Overseer seemed particularly concerned that we developed FTL travel on our own. But if we defy them, we risk war," said Minister Dae-sung. "They have 300 species under their control. The numbers alone." "Numbers don't win wars," Sun Mai interrupted. "Innovation does, and humanity has done more in a century than they've done in millennia." President Min-Ki stood up slowly. "We need to vote. Do we submit to the Council's demands and retreat to our solar system, or do we stand our ground? There's more at stake than just our expansion." Sun Mai added quietly, "If we submit now, we'll be under their control forever. They'll never let us advance again. Everything that makes humanity special, our creativity, our drive to improve, our independence, they'll take it all away." The room fell silent as her words sank in. President Min-Ki looked at each council member. "The vote will be simple. Stand if you choose to defy the council's ultimatum." One by one, they stood. Minister Dae-sung was the last, but even he rose eventually. The vote was unanimous. President Min-Ki turned to Admiral Jaiho's screen. "Admiral, you are authorized to maintain your course to the colony. The Thunderchild will be humanity's answer to their threats." "What should I do when their deadline expires?" Jaiho asked. "Show them exactly what human innovation can do," Sun Mai said firmly. "Show them why they're right to fear us." As the council members left the chamber, Sun Mai stayed behind, looking at the star charts. Somewhere out there, hundreds of species lived under the council's restrictions, unable to grow or advance. Perhaps humanity's defiance could change that. The Thunderchild wasn't just carrying humanity's hopes now. It was carrying the possibility of freedom for the entire galaxy. The HMS Thunderchild moved steadily through space, its powerful engines pushing it toward the human colony. The 48-hour deadline had passed 6 hours ago. The bridge crews stayed alert, watching their sensors carefully. "Contact," called out Officer Mai Ray from her station. 3 council ships approaching from the front. Admiral Jaiho straightened in his command chair. "Show me." The main screen displayed 3 sleek vessels, each twice the size of the Thunderchild. They were silver and smooth, without any visible weapons on their surface. Their designs hadn't changed in thousands of years, just as Captain Sun Mai had said. "They're hailing us," Myray reported. "Put them through," Jai-Ho ordered, preparing for another confrontation. The screen showed a council commander. Unlike the High Overseer, this alien's expression seemed more curious than threatening. "This is Commander He-Jun of the Galactic Council Patrol Fleet. Human vessel, you have ignored the Council's warning." "This is Admiral Jai-Ho Park. We reject the Council's attempt to contain our species." He-Jun tilted his head slightly. "Fascinating. Most species submit immediately to such warnings." He paused, looking at something off-screen. "Our scans show unusual energy readings from your ship. Your faster-than-light drive. It's different from ours." "That's correct," Jai-Ho replied carefully. "We developed it independently." "Impossible," another alien voice said off-screen, but He-Jun raised his hand for silence. "Your approach to quantum mechanics must be unique," He-Jun continued. "We've used the same principles for millennia. The Council says they're the only correct principles." Chief Engineer Ta-1 spoke up from his station. "Sir, their ships are scanning us again, but it's different this time. They're focusing on our engine core." Jai-Ho watched He-Jun's face carefully. The alien commander wasn't showing hostility. He seemed genuinely interested. This was unexpected. "Commander He-Jun," Jai-Ho said, "would you like to discuss our technological differences?" Peacefully. The other aliens on He-Jun's bridge looked shocked, but He-Jun's eyes brightened. "The Council forbids such exchanges. They say it leads to instability." "Knowledge shouldn't be forbidden," Jai-Ho replied. "Sharing ideas helps everyone grow." He-Jun was quiet for a long moment. "The Council teaches that rapid advancement leads to war and destruction. But your species, you've advanced quickly, yet you offer peaceful discussion. Advancement doesn't have to mean conflict," Jai-Ho explained. "Humanity has learned that sharing knowledge makes us stronger. When everyone can grow and improve, everyone benefits." The other Council ships moved closer, but their weapons stayed inactive. He-Jun's crew watched their commander with a mixture of fear and curiosity. "Perhaps," He-Jun said slowly, "perhaps the Council's teachings about humanity are not entirely accurate." Suddenly, alarms blared on both bridges. "Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel," Myray announced. "Larger Council vessels. They're charging weapons." He-Jun's expression changed to concern. "The Council sent reinforcements when we didn't report destroying you." "Admiral Park, you should." "Should what?" Jai-Ho asked as the transmission flickered. "Run. Hide. Should prepare," He-Jun finished. "Show us what humanity's advancement can truly achieve." The transmission cut off as the new Council ships approached. But the 3 patrol ships under He-Jun's command didn't move to attack. They stayed in place, watching. "Battle stations," Jai-Ho ordered calmly. "Let's show them why the Council fears human innovation." The Thunderchild's advanced systems hummed to life. The moment of truth had arrived. It was time to demonstrate that humanity's path of independent advancement had made them stronger than millennia of controlled stagnation. Lieutenant Jin-Woo Kim sat in his dark office aboard the Thunderchild, surrounded by glowing screens. As the ship's intelligence officer, he had been working non-stop since their encounter with Commander He-Jun's patrol fleet. The battle with the Council reinforcements had ended in a stalemate, with both sides pulling back to assess each other. Now, Jin-Woo was analyzing the data they had collected during the brief engagement. Something wasn't adding up. "Computer, show me the Council ship's communication patterns again," he said quietly. The screen displayed a complex web of transmissions between Council vessels. But Jin-Woo noticed that the patrol ships under He-Jun's command had been sending unusual signals before the battle began. A soft knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. "Enter," he called out. Chief Engineer Ta-1 stepped in, holding a datapad. "Lieutenant, I need to show you something strange about the Council's weapon systems." Jin-Woo gestured to a chair. "I'm finding quite a few strange things myself." Ta-1 placed his pad on the desk. It showed detailed scans of the Council ship's technology. Look at this. Their weapons are deliberately limited. The power regulators are designed to prevent them from operating at full capacity, intentionally weakened. Jin Wu leaned forward. Show me more. For the next hour, they compared their findings. The picture that emerged was disturbing. Jin Wu immediately requested a meeting with Admiral Zhao. In the Admiral's office, Jin Wu laid out their discoveries. Sir, the Council isn't just controlling technological advancement. They're actively suppressing it. Zhao listened carefully as Jin Wu explained. The Council gives their member species technology that's already limited. Then they monitor all communications and research to prevent any improvements. Species that show signs of breaking these limitations are contained, forced back to a pre-space travel state or worse. That explains their reaction to our independent FTL development, Zhao said thoughtfully. There's more, Jin Wu continued. Commander He Jun's ships were sending encrypted messages to other patrol fleets before the battle. I've partially decoded them. Some Council forces are questioning their leader's methods. Taiwan spread out his technical diagrams. The limitations are everywhere, sir. Their ships could be at least twice as powerful if they remove these artificial constraints. It's like putting a speed limiter on a sports car. But why? Zhao asked. Why hold everyone back? Jin Wu pulled up historical data they'd gathered. Control, sir. 3,000 years ago, there was a massive war in the galaxy. The Council emerged as the peacekeepers. They claimed that unrestricted technological advancement had caused the war. So they decided to prevent advancement entirely, Zhao concluded. Yes, but they went further, Jin Wu explained. They erased most records of the war. They rewrote history to make it seem like they had always been in control. Each new species they encounter is fed the same story. Admiral Zhao stood and walked to his window, watching the stars. Send all of this to Earth Command immediately, and get me a secure channel to Commander He Jun's ship. I think it's time we offered our new friends a chance to unlock their full potential. Jin Wu gathered his data. The Council's great secret was out. They weren't superior beings maintaining peace. They were jailers, keeping entire civilizations in chains made of restricted technology and false history. But humanity had already broken those chains without even knowing they existed. And now, they could help others do the same. The Thunderchild moved silently through a dense asteroid field. They had arranged this secret meeting after receiving an encrypted message from Commander He Jun. Admiral Zhao stood on the bridge, watching the sensors carefully. Contact, Officer Mayray announced. Small ship approaching. No weapons active. A sleek vessel, smaller than a typical Council ship, emerged from behind an asteroid. Its design was different from anything they had seen before. They're requesting permission to dock, Mayray said. Admiral Zhao nodded. Grant them access. Lieutenant Jin Wu, meet our guest in the docking bay. In the docking bay, Jin Wu watched as the ship's airlock opened. A tall figure stepped out, not the gray-skinned Council species, but one with blue-tinted skin and silver eyes. She wore simple clothing without Council markings. I am Yunji, she said in clear English, former chief scientist of the Council's research division. Commander He Jun said you might be interested in what I know. Jin Wu led her to a secure conference room where Admiral Zhao waited. The Admiral noticed immediately that she carried herself differently from Council members, more freely, without their rigid formality. The Council didn't always rule the galaxy. Yunji began without preamble. 3,000 years ago, they were just one of many advanced civilizations. They used a terrible war as an excuse to take control, promising to prevent future conflicts. We discovered some of this, Zhao said, but we need to know more. Yunji placed a small device on the table. It projected a map of the galaxy, showing hundreds of points of light. Each light represents a species that wants freedom from Council control. We've been building a secret network for centuries, waiting for the right moment. A resistance movement, Jinwu said quietly. Yes, but we've never had the means to truly challenge the Council, Yanji explained. Until now. Until humanity showed us it was possible to advance beyond their limitations. She turned to face them directly. Your ship, your technology, they represent everything the Council fears. You've proven that independent advancement doesn't lead to destruction. You've given hope to hundreds of species. Admiral Jeho studied the map. How many would actively support a rebellion? At least 50 species are ready to act now, Yunji replied. Many more would join once they see it's possible. Commander Heijun has already convinced several patrol fleet commanders to support us. What exactly are you proposing? Jeho asked. An alliance, Yunji said firmly. We have numbers and knowledge of Council operations. You have advanced technology and the proof that freedom works. Together, we could break their control forever. Jinwu brought up the intelligence reports on his tablet. The Council's grip is already weakening. News of our resistance to their ultimatum has spread, despite their efforts to suppress it. Their entire system is built on lies, Yanji added. Once enough species see the truth, those lies won't work anymore. Admiral Jeho stood up, his decision made. We'll need to contact Earth Command for full approval, but you'll have my complete support. The Council thought humanity would be their biggest problem. Instead, we'll be the key to everyone's freedom. Yanji smiled for the first time. The Council's greatest fear was that species would learn to advance on their own. Now that fear will be their undoing. The Thunderchild had arrived in Council space as a single ship defying an empire. Now it would become the symbol of a galaxy-wide revolution. The space around Arcturus, humanity's largest colony, was about to become a battlefield. The Council had launched a massive attack force, hoping to destroy human expansion before the rebellion could grow stronger. 50 Council warships approached the colony, their weapons ready. Admiral Jeho Park stood on the Thunderchild's bridge, watching the enemy fleet draw closer. Behind him, his crew worked with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment. Enemy fleet entering weapons range in 5 minutes, Officer Myre reported. They're transmitting surrender demands. No response needed, Jeho said firmly. Battle stations. The Thunderchild's advanced systems came to life. Unlike the Council's restricted technology, every system on the human ship operated at its full potential. Chief Engineer Ta Wan had even made several improvements since their last encounter. Sir, Lieutenant Jinwu called from his station. Commander Heijun's ships are moving into position. They're ready. 3 patrol ships that had secretly joined the rebellion were hiding behind Arcturus's second moon, waiting to surprise the Council fleet. It wasn't much against 50 ships, but they had a plan. The Council fleet launched their first attack. Hundreds of energy beams streaked toward the Thunderchild. The crew watched calmly as the shots approached. Point defense systems engaging, announced Ta Wan. The space around the Thunderchild lit up as its defensive screen activated. Unlike the simple shields used by Council ships, the human defense system actively predicted and intercepted incoming fire. The enemy beams disappeared harmlessly, absorbed by the screen. Their weapons are exactly as weak as we predicted, Ta Wan reported. The artificial limiters are preventing them from generating enough power to breach our defenses. Jeho nodded. Show them what unrestricted weapons can do. Target their flagship. The Thunderchild's main cannon fired. A brilliant beam of energy, far more powerful than anything the Council ships could produce, cut through space. It struck the enemy flagship's shields and broke through them instantly. The massive Council ship's engines went dark. Multiple Council ships breaking formation, Myre reported. They've never seen weapons this powerful. Commander Heijun's ships emerged from behind the moon, attacking the Council fleet from behind. Their weapons had been quickly modified using human technology, removing the Council's limitations. Council ships are sending confused transmissions, Jinwu reported with a slight smile. They don't understand how their own patrol ships are suddenly so powerful. The battle turned quickly, without their artificial limitations. Hojun's ships fought with their true strength. The main council fleet, still restricted by their technology, couldn't match their power. The Thunderchild moved through the battle with precision, its advanced weapons disabling ship after ship. Enemy fleet is retreating, Mayray announced after 30 minutes of combat. 43 ships jumping to faster than light speed. The rest are disabled. Admiral Jeho looked at the battlefield. 7 council ships floated powerless in space, including their flagship. The battle had been won without a single ship being destroyed. Human technology had proven superior not through destruction, but through precision and efficiency. Send to all disabled council ships, Jeho ordered. We offer assistance and evacuation if needed. Let them see that advancement doesn't mean destruction. The message was clear. Humanity wouldn't rule through fear like the Council. They would lead through example, showing that true advancement meant having the power to choose peace even in victory. News of the Battle of Arcturus spread across Council space like wildfire. Despite the Council's attempts to suppress information, recordings of the battle passed from ship to ship, planet to planet. The sight of the Thunderchild's advanced technology and the transformed patrol ships inspired hope everywhere. Captain Sun Li stood in a large conference room on Earth's main space station. Before her, representatives from 20 different alien species gathered around a circular table. Each of them had defected from the Council after learning the truth. The process is simple, Sun Mai explained, showing them diagrams of ship systems. The Council installed these limiters on all your technology. Once removed, your ships and weapons will operate at full capacity. Commander Hejun, who had officially joined the human side, stepped forward. I have seen the results myself. My ships now operate at twice their previous power levels. The alien representatives studied the diagrams carefully. Many of them were scientists and engineers who had suspected for years that their technology was being restricted. Now they had proof. In another part of the station, Lieutenant Jin Wu worked with Yan Ji, coordinating the growing rebellion. Their room was filled with communication screens showing updates from across the galaxy. Another Council patrol fleet has joined us, Yan Ji reported. That makes 15 fleets in the past week. Jin Wu nodded, updating their strategic map. The Council's control is breaking down faster than we expected. Their own soldiers are turning against them. A new message flashed on their screens. Jin Wu read it quickly, his eyes widening. 3 major Council worlds have just declared independence. They're demanding the right to develop their own technology. The Council's response to these events was harsh but ineffective. They sent ships to punish the rebel worlds, only to find their restricted weapons useless against defenses upgraded with human technology. More importantly, their own crews were increasingly reluctant to fire on other species who simply wanted freedom. Admiral Jeho received these reports aboard the Thunderchild with quiet satisfaction. The ship had become more than just a weapon. It was a symbol of liberation. Species that had been controlled for thousands of years looked at the human vessel and saw hope. Admiral, Officer Mirai called out. We're receiving a priority transmission from the Galactic Council chambers. The main screen showed High Overseer Du Young. The once confident alien leader looked troubled. Admiral Park, your actions have caused unprecedented instability in the galaxy. No, Jeho replied calmly. We've shown people the truth. You can't maintain control through lies anymore. You don't understand the consequences, Du Young insisted. Without our guidance, the galaxy will descend into chaos. The only chaos I see is coming from your attempts to maintain power, Jeho said. Species are choosing freedom, and they're choosing peace. Your warning about advancement leading to destruction has been proven false. The revolution continued to spread. Captain Sun Mai worked tirelessly, sharing human technological knowledge with other species. Commander Hejun led more patrol fleets to freedom. The Council's grip on power weakened with each passing day. The galaxy was changing, and there would be no going back to the old ways of control and limitation. The human Dreadnought had started more than just a rebellion. It had sparked an evolution in how species viewed their place in the universe. 3 months after the Battle of Arcturus, the Great Hall of the former Galactic Council looked very different. The ornate symbols of Council authority had been removed. In their place hung a simple banner showing stars of many colors, representing the unity of different species. High Overseer Du Young stood before the gathered representatives of 200 species. His voice had lost its previous arrogance. For 3,000 years, the Council maintained what we called peace. We were wrong. Today, I formally announce the dissolution of the Galactic Council's authority. Admiral Jeho Park sat in the front row alongside Captain Sun Midley and Commander Hejun. The Thunderchild's crew had earned their place at this historic moment. Their actions had changed the galaxy forever. In our fear of advancement, we became the very thing we claimed to prevent. Oppressors, Du Young continued. The human species has shown us a better way. They proved that progress and peace can exist together. The new alliance was already taking shape. Species that had been restricted for millennia were now sharing ideas and innovations. The removal of council limitations had led to an explosion of creativity and advancement. The new Galactic Alliance will be different, Sun Mai explained to the assembly. No species will control another. Each civilization will develop at its own pace, in its own way. We will share knowledge freely, but respect independence absolutely. Commander Hejun, now a respected leader among his people, spoke next. Already we see the benefits. Ships once limited by council restrictions now serve as research vessels. Weapons technology has been converted to power generation. We advance together, helping each other grow. Lieutenant Jin Wu smiled as he reviewed the latest reports. Planetary defenses were being upgraded to protect against natural disasters rather than war. Trade routes were opening between previously isolated species. The galaxy was healing itself. Yanji, standing proudly with other former resistance members, addressed the gathering. For centuries, we dreamed of this day, but we could not break free alone. It took humanity's example to show us that limitations exist only if we accept them. The Assembly voted unanimously to establish the new alliance. Under its charter, each species would have equal voice. Technology would be shared openly. The only restrictions would be those that prevented harm to others. Admiral Jeho looked out at the gathered representatives. Some were former enemies, others old allies. All were now partners in building a better future. The Thunderchild's mission had grown from protecting human colonies to liberating an entire galaxy. The Council warned that rapid advancement leads to destruction, Jeho said in his closing speech. But they were looking at advancement wrong. True progress isn't just about building bigger ships or stronger weapons. It's about growing wisdom alongside technology. It's about choosing to use power for the benefit of all. As the ceremony ended, the representatives gathered to share ideas and plans. Species that had been separated by council restrictions now worked together freely. The age of limitation was over. A new era of cooperation and advancement had begun. The Thunderchild remained a symbol, but now it stood for something greater than human defiance. It represented the power of freedom, innovation, and the courage to choose a better path. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what it needed.